G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Wednesday, 22nd of February. Just got the daily chart up here so you can see we're starting to get a bit of a pullback, like we've been hoping for the last 2 days and including today. The sellers are around. The sellers still haven't got any conviction like we're expecting them to get. I don't know if you're aware, but when sellers really come into the market, they come in hard. So all of a sudden, this kind of ground that you make up in 5, 10, 15, 20 days, the sellers can come back to that point within 3, 4, 5 days. We tend to sell off a lot quicker than the markets will go up. So when the sellers really want to come in and have a go, expect to see some big red candles. But then the good news is we're starting to get a pullback, but still not convinced yet. Still a buyer's market at this stage. So just bring up the chart here on the left hand side. We've got the 5-minute chart. You can see very choppy action all through here. Just trading anything through here is very tough and very 50-50. The moving averages and the predictives are just staying on top of each other. Then also we pushed down, got a bit of pressure, and then pushed up here. Still not convincing it's going to go up. Where it looked like it could have started to head down was this area here. So the predictive, moving average, everything's starting to break down, and which is what it started to do. But unlike yesterday, where it was actually quite a good area to trade, this was still within sideways action. The other markets weren't as convincing on the downside, whereas yesterday everything was pointing down at this particular same stage. So this one, it was an area where possibly thought the markets would head down, but still not a convincing area. And what you want to really be taking is those convincing areas. But from there, the markets did sell off, push down, which is what we wanted to see. So at this stage now, you can start looking for selling opportunities because we've got I think it's about a 6 to 8 point range there. So as the market pulls back, we're now looking for the market to retrace 40-50% and then look for a sell. That sort of thing didn't happen. We just continued to push up, and by the time we got up around here, you can see the moving average is now clearly pointing to the upside. We're starting to break up through some resistance areas. So all of a sudden we're starting to look for buyers now. So all of a sudden it swings from selling to buying. Up around here we've got a 5-minute fade signal. Didn't quite work. It got up to 7 ticks and then pulled back. When the actual signal came, as far as the setup, not too bad. You want to see a nice strong trend, definitely on the buyer's side. Pullback, I'd preferably like to see at least 2 points, so 1, 2, so maybe an entry down here would have been a lot better, and that's where I like to take my entries as far as the fade. So overall good setup. However, when the signal did come up, wasn't convinced. Looking at the Russell, Nasdaq, it's always worthwhile watching the other indices. They were sitting a lot lower, so what they did is they pushed down, pulled back, and they'd only pulled back to about here. So it was really looking like a 5-minute sell as opposed to a fade where you'd buy on some of the other markets. So because all the other markets didn't line up, left that one alone. Or it's probably best to leave it alone. But still, if it's one you're taking, it's not too bad of an error. From there, we did pull back. Once it pulled back and then it started to head back up again, I thought this was an area here where the buyers could really come in and have a really good go. This is a 5-minute buy here, fantastic opportunity when you look at it on the 1-minute chart. Let me find it. It's just about here. So it was a power fade up here, so I had a nice power fade entry. It looked like I really want to bust up and go for these highs and even break up and go higher, because it had to go, pull back, then went again, and it went quite strong. And by this stage, all the other markets are starting to really point to the upside. So one of those percentage areas didn't come off. Sometimes that's trading. So that just so you can see overall, not a bad area. It had everything going for it. It had the other markets and everything pushing to the upside, but sometimes markets don't agree, and in the end they just pushed off. From there, it looked like we got a quick switch to the downside. If this had happened a little bit quicker, you would have been very interested in a sell, because all of a sudden seeing a great buying opportunity fail, then to switch to the downside really quickly quite often gives a lot of pressure to that opposite direction, in this case being the downside. But it just didn't quite happen fast enough. You can see it kind of went to go, then it pushed back up, so it kind of went sideways before having a bit of a push down. But definitely be aware of, when you see situations like this fail, also the market's switching straight away to the other side, and it's something that's well worth taking advantage of. So that's the 5-minute chart. Good to see a bit of movement. So just to take you through the 1-minute chart, sideways action. We push down, so when we're pushing down here, then we started the pullback here. This is where we're starting to think 5-minute sells. In the end, it just kept pushing up. The fade came around about this area. It pushed up a little bit more, then went sideways, then we pulled back, then we got that 5-minute buy round here. But in the end, it didn't push up and kind of finished the day sideways. So going on today, the market's still very much at its close, and hopefully we'll see it continue to pull back. So that's a wrap up for the day, and I'll speak to you guys on Thursday.